Happy almost New Year.
Well, my friend,
New Year's Eve day.
the night before New Year's, tonight I do it the easy way. I watch the midnight in New York Times Square, and then I go to bed.
Everybody said, I have my son with me tonight, and
Yeah.
he's 5 now, and there's no way he's going to make it to midnight.
No,
or at least I don't want him to.
We can't make it to midnight. And we don't drink champagne or anything. It's interesting. I was in New York City for 4 years attending seminary.
Okay.
I never went to Times Square for New Year's Eve.
No?
I don't know why. I think we're too scared or something.
Well, nothing draws a crowd like a crowd.
Oh boy. Anyway, so hope you have a great New Year coming up.
Well, there's a lot of different New Years. For me, I've experienced a lot of Hebrew New Year, the Jewish New Year.
What was it based on?
It's just a different
The year one is what for them?
I don't know.
Exodus
we're
or
like
the creation of the world?
47 or something like. It's just a different time, but I was so young when we celebrated. I don't even remember what we did.
Well, I was thinking this morning, does it start with Exodus or does it start with New Year or, the creation of the world according to their
See, I focus
calendar?
on how you party for the New Year. Like American New Year, you have to drink alcohol. Hebrew New Year is a little more meditational. Lunar New Year or Asian New Year, which is celebrated at Disney like crazy, is fireworks, and
the dragons,
candy, and all that stuff, right?
Well, Hebrew, how do they celebrate it?
I just
At
don't
home?
remember.
At home?
I guess.
Anyway, yeah,
And
interesting.
it can't be that good if I don't remember.
Well,
I went to temple for 12 years.
I was thinking about New Year's, but the word new, we're going to focus on that this morning.
Okay.
How the old is needed and necessary to give meaning to the new.
And this is a little more my style. I was actually alive when you wrote this one.
It's getting
1987.
there. We're getting there.
I was 12 years old. So I remember 87 quite well. My football team won a Super Bowl.
Oh. Which team was
back
that?
to back, actually.
San Francisco?
The Niners won 88 and 89, and that was it started in 87.
And who was the quarterback?
Mr. One, Joe Montana.
Oh, good old Joe Montana.
So it was really easy to wake up and watch
Joe. Is Joe still around?
Joe is still around. It was easy to watch 49er games with Joe because by the first quarter we had been up 21. We could start eating and drinking and stop paying attention.
I watched them start off good last night and blow it at the end.
Yeah. It's not the same anymore, but this is what I love about the differences, though.
Yeah.
Each new year has new promise.
That's right.
And maybe Brock Purdy can retire.
Well,
he hurt his elbow. He hurt his elbow and shoulder again, the same one he hurt.
No.
So he's tiny. He's got Doug Flutie disease. So the whole point of this is that I bring this up to you is I love new. It gives you, just as a human, it's a great way to latch on to.
Yeah.
I screwed up. It's very biblical, right? Like with Jesus, I screwed up, but I can be forgiven.
Of
I can
course.
start again. I can try again. And in America, you could be anything you want.
Yeah.
24 hours later.
The theme of new beginnings, new life, is the message of the Bible.
That's why I love it.
It begins with a new universe.
My mom used to call me the boy of 1,000 chances.
Okay.
So I love new.
Okay. But the new needs the old. In America, I noticed that they tend to discard the old as unnecessary. That's not true. We could not have the new without the old.
Those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
I'll be 94 years old in January.
Wow. January what?
I'm the old.
January
You're
what?
the new. January 18.
Wow.
And I'll be with my children in Sacramento celebrating my 94th birthday. Well, I remember the day when I was young and we looked forward and we did not want the old anymore. We thought it was passé. We looked to the new world as the world of the future, the West and America. So coming to America was not just experiencing the new, but it was rejecting the old. That's the mistake I made. I rejected the old, thinking, oh, that's passé, all I need is the new. And as time passed, I realized you cannot have the new without using the old as the building blocks for life.
I was going to say a stepping stone, so perfect.
Appreciate the elderly.
Okay.
I appreciate my parents now a lot more than I did when they were living.
That's very true.
And I feel bad about that. I feel guilty.
My father used to say youth is wasted on the young.
Churches in the old country value the elderly. The Jewish tradition, you value your elders. In America, they are discarded. They are the expendable generation.
This is why we keep repeating problems.
Yeah, I've been in a number of churches. Not one of them has ever given me an invitation saying, you are our minister once, come and join us for this or that celebration. That's America. So, as
it's not right either.
And I've got an excellent illustration of what I'm talking about today. You know, the flags are going to be flying at half-mast during Trump's inauguration.
And why is that?
Why? Why do you think it is?
Well,
who died?
Well, that's what I'm saying. As a soldier, usually.
No, it's not the soldier.
No, I'm saying as a soldier, I usually think somebody has passed. So
Yeah.
you're right. So who died? Freedom?
No, it's an individual. Come on. Our former president, Carter.
Oh.
Did you know he died? You didn't know that, did you?
I did not know.
Gee, you need to take the earplugs out of your ear.
I tend not to watch the news. It's a bit of a downer.
Well, he was one of my favorite presidents.
Okay. Why is that?
Jimmy Carter, for many reasons. He was an avowed, committed Christian.
Okay.
Who lived the life, just didn't talk it.
Okay.
He was a Southern Baptist.
Huh?
And when they refused to allow women and in the pulpit and allow blacks to be in the place of leadership that they should be, he resigned. He started, and he left the church, but he's still a Baptist. Plains, Georgia, the church where he grew up, he was a Sunday school teacher till the very end. Every Sunday, tourists came by the hundreds to hear him teach.
Wow.
After he retired from being a president, he became very active in Habitat for Humanity. You know what that is?
Yes, I do. I used to clean for them.
He was very active. He used to take hammer and saw in his hand and go and actually work on building houses.
Wow.
He went all over the world in the interest of those who were suffering, who were in need. He started the Carter Foundation that raises millions of dollars every year to go to remote places in the world where there is mysterious diseases that's decimating the population. Anyway, on and on and on.
Wow.
So he's ridiculed today, unfortunately.
That's horrible.
Yeah, but he died, and for 30 days, the flag is supposed to fly at half-mast.
Okay.
Which means to Washington, D.C., on the day of the inauguration, the flag is going to fly half-mast. Now, knowing Trump, he's going to find a way to get around that law. But I hope he fails. Anyway, he said, that's old and the new in our country. We need to value the old, what has happened before us. We value Jefferson and Washington and all that. That's great. But there's so much there that we're beginning to forget in American history.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes. And those who do not learn from history are doomed to repeat it.
So my page today, All Things New, I'd like to share some thoughts out of that.
Okay.
Please
interact.
Join in,
okay.
Interact.
No problem.
With the coming of the new year, our minds and hearts turn to the future. We look back with nostalgia on the past, of course, but we look ahead with keen anticipation, wondering what the new year will bring. New experiences, new people, new places, new president. I must adding that. New relationships. That which we have not yet experienced maintains a sense of wonder and excitement for us.
Yeah, it does.
So I hope we enter this new year with this sense of excitement.
I think it's always been my gift is to just instantly be excited about something.
Okay.
And I can go from whatever static, just you can get into a rut. But when it comes for new things, there's a new movie, there's a new this, you got a chance to do a new experience in your life. I get very excited because I love experiencing things. Yeah. So I tell my son, I don't want to buy you gifts. I want to take you places so you can experience things.
That's great.
He still wants his gifts.
Fantastic. Well, we are all excited about the future, but with a sense of trepidation, a sense of fear, a concern, anxiety, because on a number of fronts we are moving into scary futures. But if I were living 100 years ago, I'm sure I was just as scared about the forthcoming World War I.
Of course.
Can you imagine what kind of horrible life that introduced into the mainstream of America?
I mean, people think, I know a lot of kids these days talk about mental health issues, and they have mental health issues, and they do. But I go back to this statement, being a soldier and fighting overseas the way I did. Better a warrior in a garden than a gardener in a war. And I've always loved that kind of wraparound because people don't understand what it's like living in wartime. It is brutal.
You know, the 19th century is called the Golden Age. This is where supposedly we had everything wonderful and beautiful. The century turned to the 20th and disaster struck. First World War, Depression, Second World War, Korean War, Vietnam War.
Back to back to back to back.
So when our esteemed forthcoming president says, "Make America great again," I'm going to say, what epoch, what age are you referring to when you say great again?
See, I think Trump has a lot of positives when it comes to certain things. He has his strengths. Everybody has their strengths. But what I don't like is when, like, my chiropractor, who I no longer see anymore, he says, Trump is the greatest president of all time. And I'm like, isn't it a little easier to run a country that's already built versus, say, Washington and Lincoln, who have to build the country? Yeah. So I'm not saying Trump is a bad person or a bad president or a bad anything. I'm just saying I don't understand why people call him the greatest president of all time.
It's because of imagination. Their wishful thinking has taken over. See? And he has convinced them he's a great communicator.
So that's fantastic. Be good at what you do, but you don't have to be the greatest president ever. Now you want to be up there with Washington and Lincoln.
Well, time will tell.
Alexander Hamilton.
They say don't.
Judge him by when he's done.
Don't count your eggs before they are hatched. Have you heard that saying?
Yes, I have.
Don't count your eggs before they're hatched.
Well, hopefully he can refer to a time where America was at its height and beautiful.
I'd like to know. Anyway.
But it seems every time we're at our height, we're in a fight.
But that's politics. But the thing is, we have great trepidation, great anxiety about what's going to happen. Let's not get into that.
Okay.
We all hope and pray all of these new things waiting for us will be positive and will help bring us to a fuller and more love-filled life. We say goodbye to the old and ring in the new. We want to leave behind us the tears and the pain of yesterday's traumas.
Preach.
We reach forward with faith, believing that much better things are ahead for us. I want to believe that. I am a grandpa. I'm a great-grandpa. I want to leave hope with our children and not lay on them the burden of this very pessimistic future that we could.
We have to still be thankful for the things that we do have.
We are very thankful. That's the
old.
Our
blessings.
You can see the old has brought us with all these blessings.
I never like it when somebody told me all the pain and heartache you went through what you needed to go
Yeah.
through to get to this point. And I agree with them 100%. I just don't like it because
Yeah.
it's hard. It's hard to think about all the traumas from
Well,
2024.
and
There was a lot of them. I mean, the pandemic has still got a little bit of a grip on people. There's still a lot of things that, and this is why I love a new year. Let's
yeah,
leave it behind. What's
yeah,
the point of dwelling on it?
that's right. And the thing is that what makes the difference is faith and hope. Hope that rises out of faith. If I have faith in you, then I hope and I know you're going to be the kind of person that I think you will be. And I hope and pray it will be. And if I don't have faith in somebody, then the legs have been taken out from the table. So,
Hope is frail,
yeah,
but it's hard to kill.
it is good and right that we feel this way about the future. No, it is not just wishful thinking. We are not dreaming when we believe our tomorrows will be filled with more love, joy, and peace. Our belief is based in the God who also anticipates bright tomorrows. In the book of Revelation, it talks of God of the new, quote unquote, a new heaven and a new earth is introduced. See? And that's the direction. The Bible always talks of change, of newness. Out of destruction came new building. Out of pessimism came optimism. Out of death came life. Death is not the end. This is the gift of faith. I wish people who are listening to us would be, and I'm sure many are, people of faith, because the Bible assures us that God will help us to overcome the destructive forces that have defeated us.
Well, the end of this paragraph is beautiful. It's still where there will be no longer pain and sorrow and death. The author climaxes his statement with a quotation from God. Behold, I make all things new. I couldn't get my eyes off that when I opened the page.
Yeah. I
love new. Everybody loves new.
Well, and the Bible, often when people read it, they pick up themes that are sub-themes.
Yes.
The main theme is that God is a creator, God is a sustainer, God is the beginning, and God is the end, Alpha and Omega. First and last letters of the Greek alphabet.
Oh, is that why they say Alpha and Omega?
Yeah. In our
windows to the walls.
When you go to church, there is a stained glass window over the choir.
Yes.
You look in there, there's Alpha and Omega. See if you can find where it is.
A to Z. Got it.
Okay.
Got it.
The beginning and the end.
You learn something new every day.
Okay, that's Greek. And it talks of God after all of the book of Revelation is filled with death and destruction. Oh my God. Famines, warfare, all kinds of Satan and Jesus and all battling each other. And people try to make, sense out of all that. I say, don't. It's like a futuristic movie, Steven Spielberg. But look at the theme. The theme is God is there. Don't you lose faith. At the end, God will make everything new. That's the movement. That's the message of Revelation.
I know a lot of people are searching for answers at that point too. So it's nice to know that God will make all things new, even you.
Yeah.
Even it's inspiring. It's something I can grab onto.
And it's something
it's
that
not like something you say on one level, but it means something on another level. And this is very straightforward.
And it doesn't have to be in your own lifetime. Wow. I kept hoping that we'd have peace on earth in my lifetime. It did not happen. Okay, but God is a God of life and God of peace, and all warfare shall cease. And as Isaiah prophesies, the lion is going to lie with the lamb. and there's going to be it's all called the Peaceable Kingdom. There's a famous painting. I forget the painter's name. It's a classic where all the animals are together, not fighting, but lying together. The Peaceable Kingdom, it's called. Well, it's in the scripture read, looking ahead to Christmas, quoting the Old Testament. It says, "And the lion shall lie with the lamb, and the shall eat straw like the ox." Doesn't have to eat the ox; he'll eat the straw.
Yeah, I've seen some references to everybody eating vegetables and getting along.
Okay.
So I can grasp onto, and
well,
I don't know if that's an exact.
Well, it is.
You don't know if they're actually going to be eating hay, but
vegetarians do it for dietary reasons. That's fine. God bless them. I'm not a vegetarian, but I eat less and less meat. I know
yes.
This. See, and that's fine.
It's actually one of my big New Year's I love New Year's resolutions. I come up with 3 or 4 so that if I miss one, I'm not all done.
Yeah.
But eating fish 3 times a week is one of my new goals.
Yeah.
And it's just really important for us to understand how, I mean, you're not, Pastor Kass, we talk about this all the time behind your back. You're 94 this year.
Yeah.
You're doing better than some 60-year-olds.
Well, that's what they tell me.
You walk out of back surgery like Joe Montana. You're back on the field throwing touchdowns the next week. You know what I mean? I just don't. Sometimes it's amazing to watch faith work. And we watch through you, we watch through other people, but to see what you do at 94, I hope and I pray that I make it to 94.
Well, you will.
And that I'm somewhere near you.
You will. If you don't make it, call me and I'll come walk with you. We'll. I thank God for my health. It's a gift. It's nothing that I did because I never was a nut for health. You know, I did not exercise the way I should.
You're a Splenda guy.
Yeah?
Splenda was supposed to knock you out 10 years ago.
Splenda?
Yeah, it's like the worst thing you could possibly have in your coffee.
Well, my wife has brought something new instead of Splenda. It's called Truvia, and it doesn't sweeten it no matter how much you put in there. So
I know.
The thing is that I accept life as a gift from God. I get nervous and because I can't do the things I could do before.
Right.
I used to play tennis. Now I can't even walk around the block. So that's very frustrating to me.
Yes, but on the flip side, you were supposed to preach at the table.
Yeah.
Wasn't there. Here you are up doing your normal thing.
Well, life is that way. Now, how strange it is that people who claim deep faith in God often seem to point to the past where God's greatest deeds are held in the concrete of history. In the concrete of history.
What does that mean?
That means when you pour concrete and it sets. Once it's set, that's it.
Okay.
You can't change it.
Okay, well.
Unless you break it up.
Okay, now I get the metaphor.
So the new world, is it a matter of evolution, revolution, or destruction?
Wow.
But
you are a walking hashtag.
I came in thinking about it. God is going to give us a new world.
Okay.
I make all things new. How is it going to go good? I don't know. But this is where apocalyptic scenarios kick in.
Yes.
This is going to happen. Russia's going to invade Israel, all that. I said, wait a minute. You're way ahead of yourselves. God has not given us a scenario. So whoever predicted too early ended up disappointed.
Hey, there's your Hal Lindsey reference.
There's your Hal Lindsey. And this is the first time. Did you know that some of the denominations we have now, for example, the Seventh-day Adventists, a guy by the name of Miller predicted back in 1840 or something like Jesus was going to come back. They all gathered together. They were going to be taken up, and it didn't happen. Either some was Jehovah's Witnesses. I think Jehovah's Witnesses. Anyway, so it didn't happen.
Some people drink the Kool-Aid.
So what they do is make a new denomination out of it. Keep believing it, the stuff. Don't don't second guess God and get ahead of
As
things.
humans, we really love to take
We do.
2 or 3 pieces of information and build an entire story around it our way.
Because we want to have the reputation of having been the prophet. All these gurus, all these teachers, they all want to be known as, he read the Bible. He really knows how to interpret it. And I could give you names. I've been around for quite a while, people who did that. And it did not happen. So we do not predict. We just walk with faith.
I love how everything you say ends up walk with Jesus.
Well,
let's finish this off strong.
That's all we got. Now, the thing is, the Bible always points to the future as the arena of God's mighty and coming action in the climactic acts of history.
I see that. Traditions
centered in the past without an open heart and mind for what God will yet do as balls and chains restricting faith and action.
Yeah.
Faith which anticipates new things which we have not even begun to dream of helps us to sprout wings, and we soar into the thrilling and wonderful future. Revelation says, write this, these words are trustworthy and true. We soar into the future with wings of faith.
Traditions of the past, without an open heart and mind for what God will yet do, act as balls and chains, restricting faith and action. I really identify with that. I like the ball and chain reference, and not in a marriage reference.
Yeah.
But I do feel a lot of times that you're in the concrete now. I'm starting to put it all together, but it seems like, it's the idea. And then now you have that's the past holding you down. Well, you don't have to live in the past.
And the church,
you can be excited. You can be thrilled. It could be wonderful. The future can be, and something we haven't thought of. That's what I like.
Yeah.
Everybody wants to label everything. And when it's not labeled, they go crazy.
Yeah.
And so I'm not a label guy. I like to let things be what they are. And I want to be excited, and I want to be thrilled, and I want to see wonderful things. So I guess I understand both sides. I don't agree with the ball and chain side.
Of course not.
There's a movie called Dogma, which is a very, it's a movie, religious people and God people.
Dogma.
A
dogma.
And it was Chris Rock, was a famous comedian. He said religion was better as an idea, not as like concrete, because you can always change an idea. And I always latched onto that sentence because I want to know that we haven't figured everything out yet. And knowing that we haven't, and knowing that 2025 is coming and we don't know what's going to happen, that's the exciting part.
Yeah, and when it comes, say, I'll get through this, whatever it is that comes at you. We're waiting with great joy for the new year. Let's end it with what we began with. And I wish for you a new year and beyond, not just excitement, but fulfillment. May God make it come to pass.
There are so many things I want to do with this life.
Amen.
There are so many things that are ahead of us, and I appreciate now and the time we have together, and I look forward to the future. But these pointed reflections have really changed my life, and I wanted you to know that going into 2025, I do not have the same mindset that I did in 2024, not just because of the church and the sermons and everything. By the way, your sermon was fantastic yesterday.
I don't know about that.
Well, I do, because I was the one listening. And I just want you to know that being able to go forward with these new ideas and thoughts that you've given to me, it's a gift in itself.
And I at my age, I still have no ideas, and I still have hopes. I wish I had 20 more years, things I could do. I think that's one thing that keeps me young and keeps me positive. And I pray that God will allow me to keep that attitude and not let my aches and pains distract me and steal from me that joy that comes with God's gift.
You really are You really are this amazing success story. I mean, to walk out of back surgery, no problem. I mean, really, honestly, your faith and your prayers and everything you do, it means so much to us.
Well, God's blessings be with you all also. Thank you.
I appreciate that.
Thank you very
And
much.
if you were worthless, I'd tell you that too, you know.
Thank you very
I'm a
much.
straight shooter. But for 2025, I'm going to walk into it with nothing but hope and excitement because I choose to. And Jesus makes all
Amen.
things new.
And remember that the excitement, between excitement and fulfillment, there's a lot of work, a lot of heartache, a lot of tough times, and be willing to go through those.
Should we end with your favorite quote? Many a slip between the cup and the lip.
There's many a slip between the cup and the lip. That's Shakespeare.
Shakespeare.
Amen.
Have a great. I'll see you next year.
Yes.
And we'll see you guys next year too.
Next year in Jerusalem.